Don't forget to like and comment on my video and let me know how you enjoyed it so I can create even better content for you. All right, then, let's get started. The courthouse steps felt like ice beneath my heels as Sarah's voice cut through the morning air. "Don't touch my son," she yelled, yanking little Marcus away from me like I was some kind of disease. The security guard stepped between us, and I watched my nephew, the child I'd raised for 3 years, disappear behind his mother's designer coat. I'm Emma, and until 6 months ago, I thought I knew exactly who I was: a devoted aunt, a substitute mother, and the only stable presence in Marcus's life. But DNA has a funny way of rewriting stories we thought were already written. It started the day Sarah showed up at my door after 3 years of silence. My brother David had died in a car accident when Marcus was just 6 months old, and Sarah, his grieving widow, had begged me to take the baby. "I can't do this alone," she'd sobbed into my shoulder. "Please, Emma, you're the only family he has left." I'd rearranged my entire life for that little boy, quit my marketing job for something with flexible hours, converted my home office into a dinosaur-themed bedroom, learned the difference between 5 types of crying, and memorized every Bluey episode by heart. While Sarah traveled for her healing journey, I was the one walking the floors at 2 a.m. with a teething baby. 3 years passed in a blur of first words, first steps, and unconditional love. Marcus called me Mama M, and I never corrected him. Sarah sent postcards from Bali, Thailand, Greece, always promising to visit soon. The checks she sent barely covered diapers, but I didn't care. This child was my brother's legacy, and I'd protect him with my life. Then Sarah returned, transformed. Gone was the grieving widow. In her place stood a polished woman with a new husband, a mansion in Westchester, and a sudden interest in motherhood. "I'm ready now," she announced over coffee, as if reclaiming a stored piece of furniture. "I want my son back." The custody battle was swift and brutal. Sarah's lawyer painted me as the overbearing aunt who'd overstepped boundaries. They had documentation. Apparently, I'd never formally adopted Marcus. Temporary guardianship, the paper said. Sarah had never signed away her rights. But something felt wrong. During a supervised visit, I noticed Marcus had my brother's exact birthmark on his shoulder, except it was on the wrong side. When I mentioned it to my lawyer, she suggested something that made my blood run cold. "Have you considered a DNA test?" The court ordered it immediately. Sarah fought it viciously, claiming it was unnecessary trauma for Marcus. Her new husband threatened to sue for harassment. Even my own mother begged me to drop it. "Don't destroy what's left of our family," she pleaded. The results came on a Tuesday. I sat in my lawyer's office, hands shaking as she read the words that changed everything. Probability of biological relationship between Marcus Chen and David Chen, 0%. 0%. My brother wasn't Marcus's father. The courtroom erupted when the results were presented. Sarah's perfect composure cracked like thin ice. "Those tests are wrong!" she screamed. "He's lying. David must have paid someone off." But David had been dead for 3 years, and everyone knew it. Under oath, the truth finally emerged. Sarah had been having an affair with her personal trainer. When she got pregnant, she convinced my trusting brother the baby was his. After David died, guilt and fear drove her away, not grief. She'd spent 3 years running from the truth, letting me raise another man's child while she rebuilt her life. "But I loved him like my own," I told the judge, my voice breaking. "Biology doesn't erase 3 years of being his mother." The judge's decision was swift. Sarah had committed fraud, abandoned her child, and lied to the court. Marcus would remain with me, with supervised visits for Sarah. As for her new husband, he filed for divorce before we even left the courthouse. That night, I tucked Marcus into his dinosaur bed like always. He looked up at me with those trusting eyes. eyes that weren't my brother's but were still home to me. Mama M, are you sad? No, baby, I said, smoothing his hair. I'm exactly where I need to be. 6 months have passed since that day on the courthouse steps. Sarah's "don't touch my son" echoes sometimes, but it's lost its power. DNA results silenced her lies, but love wrote a different truth. Marcus is thriving in kindergarten now, still obsessed with dinosaurs, but also discovering a love for soccer. The birthmark I'd questioned? Turns out it was just a birthmark. Sometimes we see what we expect to see. Sarah gets her supervised visits every other Sunday. She brings expensive toys that Marcus politely thanks her for, then leaves in the corner. He saves his real excitement for our Friday night pizza nights and Saturday morning pancake faces. She's trying to buy what I earned through sleepless nights and endless patience. But children know the difference between presents and presents. My lawyer says I can formally adopt Marcus now. The paperwork sits on my kitchen counter, waiting for signatures. It feels like a formality. He's been mine since the day I first held him. Biology be damned. Love doesn't need DNA to be real. Sometimes people ask if I regret fighting for the truth. I look at Marcus, teaching him to tie his shoes, reading him bedtime stories, being the mother he deserves. And I know the answer. The truth didn't destroy our family. It revealed who our real family was all along. Always, baby. Always. Encounter, waiting for signatures. It feels like a formality. He's been mine since the day I first held him. Biology be damned. Love doesn't need DNA to be real. Sometimes people ask if I regret fighting for the truth. I look at Marcus, teaching him to tie his shoes, reading him bedtime stories, being the mother he deserves. And I know the answer. The truth didn't destroy our family. It revealed who our real family was all along. Always, baby. Always.